Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel. I am Jalon Strong, the Essential Millennial Realtor, and your host for this channel. Welcome back. I know it's been some time. If you are a returning viewer that you've seen me for the month, I typically go live a little bit sooner in the month, but there have been some things that I need to handle personally. So I just took some time away to handle those things, make sure I'm taking care of myself, and then we could get back to the live videos. But I thank you all for your patience, and I thank you all for coming back, even if you're checking out this video on the replay. Welcome to this channel. Please like, subscribe, share the content. Also follow us on our other social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Substack, and of course, subscribe here on YouTube. You don't want to miss any content we have as we cover market data next. And here we're going to cover another step almost to the end of our series on bingo to home ownership. We're on step 11 on a 12-step series, but also we have some bonus steps or some bonus information to cover. So you don't want to miss it. And thank you for joining. Please like the video. It helps us get and stay in the algorithm for those that are interested in this type of content. Please let me know if you can hear me. I wanted to make sure I could hear what you all are hearing. So if you can't hear me, please let me know in the comments. I am checking those out, and we want to make sure we correct whatever issues are going on. Usually if we have any video issues, I will go to the avatar, but it looks like we're doing fine from my angle. If there's any visual issues, let me know that in the comments as well. You now should see a banner moving about at the bottom of the screen. It does have the link that we use to post any content that we want to make available to any customer or client. So if you want to find any details about Dreams to Keys Realty, myself as the Essential Millennial Realtor, or any affiliate links that we have, you can find it at the link that is moving about at the bottom of the screen. I also make sure to put that in the description box of each video, and you can find it in the link in the bio on our other social media platforms. That link is beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. So feel free to use that link at your discretion whenever you need any services from us or would like to know anything about the affiliate links that we have. So we're going to tap into that a little bit. We have a link in the description, highlight of the week, that we do each video. And for this week, we're going to talk about the preferred lender. If you click or go to the website beacons.ai/Jalon Strong, you will see a tab that says preferred lender, ask about their grant program. And we strongly recommend that if you want to use our services, that you try out our preferred lender. You do not have to use our preferred lender if you are going through the home ownership process to buy a home. But we do recommend that you at least try them out, because these are lenders that I myself have had conversations with, we've engaged with potentially in a transaction or two, and we have some experience and some rapport with each other that I would hope that you would be able to trust if you become my client. So at least, have a conversation with them, ask them about their grant programs. It's not every lender that has a grant program. So ask this particular lender that is on that tab about the grant program, as well as any other information in regard to your home loan process. That link is available to you right now on beacons.ai/Jalon Strong for free. And of course, to consult with them or talk with them is also free as well. But please take that to your discretion and, give them a try if you're interested. Next, we're going to talk about a link that we've talked about for several months here on this channel, which is a separate business from Dreams to Keys Realty. It is called Crown First Lady. It's called crownfirstlady.net. The business is called Crown First Lady. The product is First Lady Scalp Oil. And this is a company that I created separate from Dreams to Keys Realty, which would allow for anybody that is looking to make sure their scalp is not irritated, that it is the proper nourishing environment for hair growth, would be able to try First Lady Scalp Oil to assist in that. This is an oil that I created for myself during my alopecia journey, and I am on the growth phase now. So this helped me to really minimize scalp irritation. I really took some time and I cultivated this formula to make sure that I was able to see results. And from that, those around me requested this oil, which is why it is now a business called Crown First Lady. So if you are someone who is interested in trying to overcome any scalp issues, whether you have alopecia or not, which is hair loss, make sure that you give this a try. If you would like to go to crownfirstlady.net, you can make your purchases there. I will make sure that they get out to you in a timely manner. We typically have seen that our deliveries are made available to you 2 days after we ship them. So that's fantastic news, especially if you live in a state around Georgia or in Georgia. And then overall, we try to shoot for a delivery of 3 to 5 business days. So please give crownfirstlady.net a glance over and feel free to purchase First Lady Scalp Oil in the 1 ounce, which is your travel or sample size, as well as the 4 ounce, which is the full bottle size. I would love to make sure your orders get out to you in a timely manner. And of course, we appreciate your business. Another update, you will see that if you go to Dreams to Keys Realty, DTKRealty.com, you will see that there is an automatic discount on all of our physical products. This is our end of the year sale. So there is an automatic discount of 70% off on all physical products. So ebooks are not included in this sale. Any physical products such as our hoodies, crew necks, shirts, our journals, they are all now 70% off through the end of the year. That sale will end at midnight Eastern Standard Time of the new year. The reason for that is because we're going to phase out that part of the business where those items may become gifts or things of that nature, but they will no longer at the end of the year become available for purchase. So if you wanted any shirt, crew neck, hoodie, journal, this is the time to make sure that you purchase them, not only because of the discount, but because they will not be available following into the new year. So make sure you get your crew necks, your hoodies, your journals, your shirts, all that say Dreams to Keys Realty or My Dreams Have Keys. Make sure that you get those things now before the year ends so that you don't run into that issue. We will not be taking orders for any reason moving into 2026 for any of those physical items. The ebooks are still on the website and on beacons.ai/Jalon Strong and will continue throughout 2026. So please take advantage of that sale. Now let's get into the reason why we're here. This is the bingo for home ownership or homeowners, step 11 of the home ownership series. So we've covered 10 steps already. It's November. This is the 11th step. So we've covered 1 step per month, and we're going to do the same here. So let's make sure we get our slides up. As always, we go through a presentation for this. So we're going to make sure that we share the screen and get that going. Give me 1 second to do that. All right, it seems that it's uploading, so we're just waiting on that to finish. In the meantime, if you have any questions regarding home ownership, we're going to cover securing financing. If there's any questions, you can leave the page. Any comments that you all might leave, even if you do it on the replay, I'll make sure that I review those comments and respond back. So it looks like we might have had a delay on the video. So what I'm going to do is go to the avatar so we don't have any distractions. All right, we're adding our presentation to the stage. Hopefully you can see that. So yes, we are on Bingo to Home Ownership, Step 11, Secure Financing. At this point, we've covered 10 steps. We reviewed credit, assessed budget, scheduled a consultation with Dreams to Keys Realty to speak with me, gotten pre-approved, created a wish list, hired the essential millennial realtor, which is myself, shopped for a home, made an offer through my services, received an executed contract, contacted the inspector for a home inspection, and now we are at step 11, which is securing financing. With this video and this presentation, I hope that you're able to review the process of securing financing to close on your home and understand your financial expectations regarding the executed contract. One disclaimer that I would like to put here is, as a real estate agent and realtor, I am not the financial expert in this transaction. That expert is your lender or lender's representative. So for all final recommendations and advice regarding your financial expectations, please seek that from your financial expert, which is the lender or lender's representative. I, however, do have a home finance resource certification through the National Association of Realtors, which provides me some information about the financial piece. However, I am still not considered the financial expert in this transaction. With securing financing, it's very important that you know that additional documentation may be requested from you at this stage. So at this stage, like we mentioned previously, you've already been pre-approved, but now you are after the step of the executed contract, meaning that you as the buyer and your agent, which I would hope would be myself if you're in Gwinnett or DeKalb County, as well as the seller and or seller's agent, have agreed on terms to move forward to closing. In those terms, you've agreed on some things such as earnest money, value of the home that you would like to purchase it for, which is separate from an appraisal that could be different in value. But you've agreed on some terms, and those terms need to be supported. So the job of your financial expert, which is your lender, who you are speaking with a representative of that lender who can be titled differently, such as your mortgage broker, mortgage loan officer, or similar titles. They're working with you to support that you are ready to make this purchase, that you are ready to close on this home. You probably and should have already provided them documentation prior when you went through the pre-approval phase. During that phase, there were certain documentations that you provided, like pay stubs, proof of employment, bank statements, things of that nature. It may have been some time since you provided those documents, and so your lender may need updated documents. They may need your more recent pay stubs, bank statements, proof of employment. This is a reminder to you, if you are looking to buy a home, that this is not the time for you to leave your job, request an additional line of credit for another reason, such as a car, this is not the time for you to move significant amounts of your money out of your bank account. What you want to present is stability. And those things are some form of red flags to a lender. It can present as instability and could give a lender pause on giving you the loan. Keep in mind, it is still their option whether or not they want to offer you the loan. So they are going to look for documentation to support that it is still a good decision to go forward with this home loan. Pre-approval does not lock them into the process, as the pre-approval step is more of an estimate based on the documentation at that time. At the time when you've made the executed contract and are moving toward closing, you and your lender are working together to get to those final terms and numbers. So that's why additional documentation would be necessary. The documentation that you discuss with your lender through your lender's representative is not something that you ever need to provide through or to your real estate agent, broker, or realtor. Your real estate agent, broker, or realtor are not the financial experts, even though we may have some experience or interaction with the lender or lender's representative. We are still not considered the financial experts in this transaction. And you should not provide any of your loan documentation to a real estate agent, broker, or realtor. Even if you have questions about that documentation, it is best for you to discuss that with the individual that provided the documentation to you. Just as if there was documentation that your real estate agent, broker, or realtor provided to you, it's best that you go back to that real estate agent, broker, or realtor and ask that individual the questions you have about that documentation. If you have questions about your loan at any point, it is best that you direct those questions to that individual that provided you that documentation. If that's the mortgage loan officer, mortgage broker, make sure that you ask those questions until you get the understanding needed from that individual about that documentation. If after getting that answer, you feel that this is not the best lender for you, you still have the option to go with another lender. Hopefully, you would vet those lenders out in the pre-approval phase, but you still have the option later in this phase of determining if you want to move forward with this particular loan from this particular lender. We're going to talk about time frames and the importance of time, because time is of the essence, especially after an executed contract where you have legal and financial obligations. There is an exception when it comes to documentation of what you would need to provide for the transaction to close to your real estate agent, broker, or realtor, and even before you go on to shop for a home. Previously, we talked about the pre-approval process and how you need to provide a copy of the pre-approval letter to your real estate agent, broker, or realtor prior to seeing any homes. And that is mentioned here as well, just to reiterate that point. Once you get to the executed contract, you may or may not have agreed to provide earnest money. Your earnest money deposit is not required. However, it does show good faith to a seller, though it's not an obligation. It shows good faith to a seller that you are invested in this process, that you really want to purchase this home. As some might say in different colloquialisms, you have skin in the game at that point. A copy of your earnest money deposit receipt should be provided to your real estate agent or broker. Ultimately, it's to the broker. And that is to confirm that what was agreed upon in the executed contract is being carried out on your end. So the copy is needed to be provided to your real estate agent and or broker after you have provided the earnest money deposit. And we have talked about on this channel how important it is that when you're giving that earnest money deposit, ultimately you're giving thousands of dollars as your earnest money on most occasions. And so you need a receipt of that. Just as when you go to fast food restaurants, they offer you a receipt and you may not even spend $100. With you spending thousands of dollars potentially in your earnest money, you definitely should get a receipt of that. You should ask for it if it was not offered, but it should have been offered to you or given to you upon receipt of your earnest money. You should receive a physical receipt as far as paperwork, and a copy of that should be provided to your real estate agent, broker, or realtor, depending on the terms or titles they use. Ultimately, it is going to the broker. So that is the only paperwork that your real estate agent or broker or realtor would need when it comes to the financial piece. So in the early stages, a copy of the pre-approval letter. Once we get past the executed contract, a copy of your earnest money deposit receipt is needed to go in your file for the transaction. All other documentations regarding your finances are to be addressed with the financial expert, such as your lender's representative, which could be your mortgage loan officer or mortgage broker, whatever title that they are using. What happens in 3 business days? A lot happens in this process in 3 business days. The loan estimate is a document that's provided by the lender and given to you as the applicant within 3 business days of the application. So even when we go to the pre-approval phase, there's an application that the lender will ask you to complete. And at that point, you will receive a response from the lender or lender's representative within 3 business days. The loan estimate is exactly what it's detailing. It's an estimate. There are no final numbers. They're not locked into these numbers necessarily. They're estimates, because those numbers can change as you go to find a home and solidify the loan cost in the closing disclosure. So there's more numbers that have to be considered once they get to the closing disclosure. But the loan estimate is exactly as it sounds. It's an estimate of the home loan, the loan costs, interest rates, fees, all those things at that point in time, based on the documentation that has been provided at that point in time. This is another reminder that you want to make sure you have stability. So quitting your job, buying a car, and all of those different things that change your income, employment, and credit profile can impact how things look once it gets to the closing disclosure phase. And if there's such a significant change that it changes your credit or it knocks you off of a qualifying requirement for a loan, it can mean either that your lender has to find another loan option. It can mean that your closing is pushed back. It can also mean, in extreme cases, but realistic cases, that you do not close on that home. So it's very important that we take this process very serious. And if you have any concerns about purchasing something that might require a line of credit or making any changes in employment, I would recommend that you speak with the financial expert, your lender or lender's representative, prior to doing that, so that you don't inhibit your own ability to purchase the home that you're looking to purchase and close on. Hopefully that makes sense. The closing disclosure has the same time frame, but it is a document provided by the lender, again, and given to the applicant within 3 business days before closing. This details the final terms of the home loan. So your loan amount, your interest rate, your closing costs, any fees. Also, you would need to search for a home insurance company and provide your lender with a copy of the quote that home insurance company is giving you, so that that number can be included in your closing disclosure numbers. And make sure that it is staying the same when you look at your closing disclosure. Even if you determine that you want to shop for different loan programs or use different lenders before solidifying on a particular lender, make sure certain numbers are not changing across those estimates. But once you get to the closing disclosure, you definitely want to check the numbers. I would recommend that you have a Zoom or some type of virtual meeting with that lender or lender's representative so that you can go over the document. Make sure you understand exactly what it's saying, where the numbers are coming from, and what does it mean for you. Good afternoon, German 983. Good afternoon. Make sure that you know what the numbers mean for you. One question I would advise everyone to ask when they are meeting with the lender or lender's representative reviewing these closing disclosure documents, one, I would ask, what is my monthly payment? I would be clear about what that means. When is the first payment due? Typically, it's like 60 days after closing, but confirm that, right? Also, I would ask, what amount, if any, should I bring to the closing table? And where is that noted on this closing disclosure? Your lender may also say things like, be prepared for any additional cost so that you can have a cashier's check at the closing table to cover that. Your personal bank checks would not be typically useful in this case. But if you have to bring anything to close, typically that is something that is wired. So ask more information about the wiring instructions. Who is the contact person? What is their number? And you want to make sure that you get those from those that you can trust in this process, because there are emails that scammers can send out and throw you off. And eventually, if you bite into their scam, you could end up giving your money into the wrong hands. And we don't want that. So definitely make sure that you're clear on what money you would need to bring prior to and what route you would need to use to provide those funds. Typically, you may end up giving those funds through the closing attorney's office. So what is their information that you would need to wire those funds? What is the amount? Those are questions that I would recommend that you ask when going over the closing disclosure with the lender's representative. What are acceptable means if you did have to cover some last minute costs at closing? What are some acceptable means that you could do that? Is it cashier's check? That's one example. Typically, your local or traditional bank checks are not enough, like your own personal checks that you have in your bank book. Those typically are not accepted, but make sure you confirm what is accepted. Time is of the essence. It's very important that you respond to the lender's representative in a timely manner. If they reach out to you, please respond to them as soon as possible. Don't leave them on red for days. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help get to the closing table. You want to respond to them as soon as possible. And if there's something that they need from you that you feel that you can't do within a certain time frame, let them know that, and let them know the time frame when you think that you can provide whatever they're looking for, if that's documentation or whatnot. And they can advise you on the urgency or whether that's accepted. We have been talking about business days, and we are in the holiday season currently. Be mindful that just because it's not A holiday, it may not be a business day for certain institutions. For example, we just had Thanksgiving. For some institutions, the day after Thanksgiving is still not a business day for them. So keep that in mind. Just because it's not a celebrated day, it may not be a business day for certain institutions. So think of that. So this was pretty short and sweet because we've really done the hard work prior to this, but I wanted to emphasize that time is of the essence. This is not where you take a week to respond to anyone. This is not where I would even recommend taking more than 48 hours to respond. As soon as you get an inquiry, a request from your lender, definitely respond. If there's an update that's needed to documentation and your realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker is reaching out to you, please respond as soon as possible. Like I mentioned before, the earnest money deposit receipt is necessary in the file for the transaction. That is one of the pieces of documentation you do need to provide to your realtor, real estate agent, real estate broker, which ultimately is under the responsibility of the real estate broker. So you definitely need to provide that as soon as possible. Never leave after providing your earnest money without getting a receipt. They should give it to you, but even if they don't automatically, request it and don't leave without it. It is needed in your file for the transaction. Time is of the essence. Provide all necessary documentation as soon as possible, especially to your lender, and you can expect communication from them within 3 business days of any application or closing. So they're going to need certain information from you as soon as possible so they can get that closing disclosure done within the 3 business days prior to the closing. Review all documents and ask questions prior to closing. Yes, you can ask questions at the closing table, but there are so many documents that you're going to sign that should just be a review for you that it would take a significant amount of time to go through all of that at the closing table. So since you're going to see these documents prior to, review them and make sure they make sense, especially the ones that have obligations for you. Of course, review everything, but understand your obligations when it comes to these documents. Understand your legal and financial obligations. Understand when you're able to obtain entry to the home. Depending on the transaction, there are certain agreed upon timeframes. Most of us, it's at the closing table, it's your home. For rare conditions, there might be other stipulations. So make sure you understand what your legal, financial obligations are and adhere to them. And definitely understand them prior to closing so that closing is just a brief review of what you already understand your expectations to be. Hopefully all of that made sense. If you are someone who is unrepresented and looking to buy or sell in Gwinnett and DeKalb counties, definitely make sure that you go to the link that is moving at the bottom of the screen. It is beacons.ai/Jalon Strong. You can also go to the one on the screen. It's the same. It will take you to the same link, which is dtkrealty.com/book-me, and schedule a free consultation with me. We can talk for up to 1 hour and make sure that you're able to appear virtually on video for that consultation. If you're not able to attend or appear on video, you will incur a $15 no-show fee. So make sure you're available and can be on video for that consultation time. We're going to talk about your specific scenario and how I can assist you, if that's possible, to get to your goal of home ownership. If you're someone that says, I do want to buy or sell, but I'm not in that area, don't fret, I can still provide you a referral. So text the word referral to the number 770-758-5641. From there, I'll contact you. We'll review documentation together so that you know that this is the documentation where you're giving myself approval to find a real estate agent, broker, or realtor on your behalf. Then I'll work that documentation out with them on the back end once you both agree. And then you all will go and find the property that you're looking to buy, or you'll sell your property that you have. For everyone, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you that are subscribed, and I would love to see that subscriber count go up to, let's say, 200. We're at 155. I would love to see 200. Follow us on all of our social media platforms and share our content to anyone you think that might be interested, or even on your own pages. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, Substack, and of course here on YouTube. So I'm going to stop sharing because that's the end of our PowerPoint. I'm going to come back on screen. So let me know if you all have any questions, comments, anything that you think is important to note, any other information you think might be helpful for those that are at this stage in the process. This was step 11, securing financing. So we've covered 10 previous steps. So if you did not see those other 10 steps, they are on this channel. You're welcome to go to those videos and replay them. We have one more step, and then we're going to do some bonus information, but definitely make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss anything, whether we're live, we're doing anything recorded, or you just want to come back for the replay. I thank you. I think I've seen multiple of you come in on the live, and I appreciate all of that. We have 2 more lives today. We're going to cover market data. So if you're interested in reviews of Gwinnett and DeKalb County market data for September, we have October coming up a little later, but we still got to cover September. So please come back for those lives. I don't see any questions. So I will end this live. Thank you all for joining. And you're welcome to come to the Dreams to Keys Realty YouTube channel at any time. Watch a replay or join a live. Please, like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss anything that we have going on this channel. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening and upcoming week.